Commission meeting for this February 1st, 2023. So I call this meeting to order. Travis, if you would please take roll.
Christ,
Here.
Kemp,
Here.
Norton,
Here.
Russell, Zaccaro,
Here.
Semp, absent, and Mulligan.
Here. All right, Travis, would you please confirm we are in compliance with the Iowa Open Meetings Law?
We are.
Very good. All right, so commissioners, in front of you are our meeting minutes from January 4th, 2023. I'd entertain any modifications or a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for January 4th, 2023.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Travis, if you would.
Kemp,
Aye.
Norton.
Probably should abstain.
Okay. Christ,
Aye.
Zaccaro. Aye. Russell,
Abstain.
and Mulligan.
Aye.
Is that enough to approve them, or do we, okay.
Yeah.
Then I won't change my vote.
Okay, very good. So those minutes are approved as submitted. Okay, so this evening we have a single public hearing. The item is to amend the planned unit development at 7900 Chavanel Road. Is our applicant here this evening? Come on up. State your name, state your address, and what it is that you're looking for.
City Hall.
You can just say City Hall for your...
Ian Hatch, Economic Development for the City of Dubuque, 1300 Main Street, here on behalf of Dave Lyons, who is on behalf of Dubuque Child Care Collaborative. The DCC received a $2.15 million state grant to create a multi-employer child care center, specifically in the Dubuque Industrial Center West. The facility is anticipated to offer a maximum of 225 child care slots. And the center will focus on critical gap coverages that were identified by a child care study that was commissioned by the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. These critical gap coverages included infant care, shift care, drop-in care, and sick care. While the primary use for the building will be child care and preschool services, the intent is for the facility to also support other necessary public and private services, including data centers, emergency call centers, and general office use. The Dubuque Child Care Collaborative feels that the proposed planned unit development amendment aligns with the Imagine Dubuque Comprehensive Plan as well as the Poverty Reduction and Prevention Plan. The intent of the facility is to provide a meaningful impact on a deeply felt need within our community, and to achieve this goal, the Dubuque Child Care Collaborative would respectfully request that this amendment be approved.
Okay, Eric, thank you. That was great. Before he sits down, any questions? Okay, you can have a seat. All right, this is a public hearing, so we'll open it up to the public. Seeing none, we will close it for public input. There's no rebuttal necessary. With that, Sheena, if you would, give us your report.
Certainly, thank you. Sheena Moon, Associate Planner. So the Dubuque, the proposed amendment is to modify a zone within the Dubuque Industrial Park West PUD. And so let me just go, Dubuque Industrial Center West. That was a typo. So the Zone B consists of one property, and it happens to be the subject property that the applicant has purchased and is seeking to, as Ian mentioned, conduct childcare, early learning center, and then also a portion of the property for potentially general office, a data center, or an emergency call center. And so the proposed amendment would modify specifically the uses that would be allowed within Zone B of the PUD area. And the image here before you just shows the outline of the overall PUD area, as well as the checkered kind of outline there is the subject site, as well as Zone B. It's an approximately 10-acre property. Again, 7900 Chavanel is the location. It is improved with an existing building that's about 67,000 square feet, one story. It was formerly occupied by Medline and has been sitting vacant for a few years now. And as Ian articulated, the Dubuque Initiatives did receive a grant, which is part of the catalyst for, developing and establishing the child care center on this property. Also mentioned by Ian, but I'll reiterate that they are planning to offer up to a maximum of 250 childcare slots. Initially, the plan is to offer up to 120. And then, as I also mentioned, they are looking to amend the PUD to allow for data centers, emergency support centers, and general office. And so, just to reiterate one more time, the proposed amendment for the Dubuque Industrial Center West would modify the uses allowed in Zone B only. It would basically modify those uses. Currently, childcare is a conditional use within that zone. And so this would strike the requirement for a conditional use permit for childcare and allow that as a permitted use. The early learning centers, data centers, and emergency call centers would be new uses that would be introduced into the zone. And then the amendment also proposes to strike corporate offices as a permitted use and just kind of open that up to general office versus being more specific on the corporate side. The other development standards within the ordinance that currently apply to Zone B, so those would include things such as accessory uses, temporary uses, the bulk development standards, signage, lighting, stormwater requirements, and all other applicable standards would still apply. So this would not modify any of the development standards within that zone. And then, as with any projects in the city, commercial projects, a site plan review would be required in the event that they were looking to make changes to the site or the layout of the property. That would go through the city's development review team. And that level of review would just depend on the level of the project and what changes are being proposed. So again, just another aerial image here. The blue, the Zone B is identified in the striped area there. And with that, staff doesn't have anything else, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I guess I have one question. That's okay. How much of the building is planned to be used for daycare versus these other data centers and offices, and what else is there?
Sure,
I mean, they say 250 kids, but I don't know what that really means relative. Is it half? Is it 3/4?
Sure, that's a great question. I don't know if Ian might have any idea of how much of the building they're hoping to utilize for childcare.
Closer to half than 3/4.
Okay, thank you.
All right, for clarity, the answer was closer to half than 3/4. There you go. All right. Any other questions for staff? Thank you, Sheena. All right, so with that, any conversation amongst this group, or we can entertain a motion and a second.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the request, recommend approval of the city council to amend the PUD for Zone B, Dubuque Industrial Center West.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Travis, if you would, please.
Christ,
Aye.
Kemp, Norton,
Aye.
Russell,
Aye.
Mulligan. Oh, I apologize. Zucaro,
Aye.
Mulligan.
Aye, okay. That motion passes. It will go to council on the February 20th agenda. Okay, so next we'll move on to any items from the public. Seeing none, we'll move on. Any items from the commission to discuss? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Any items from staff to discuss?
Nope, just we'll probably keep plugging. In April, we're going to have a Iowa State University planning workshop. We're inviting the Zoning Board of Adjustment, Zoning Advisory Commission, City Council. It's basics on zoning. It's a pretty good workshop, I think. In the past, we've always invited the board members. We used to do it about once every 3 to 5 years. COVID hit, so it's been a while. So I don't know if some of you have attended. Pat, have you attended at one? I think.
Yep.
It's pretty good, pretty informational. So, yep.
So no date's been set yet, Wally?
We do. We actually have a date,
24th of April. It's a Monday evening. Yeah.
and we'll get some information out to you for that. So, all right.
Well, I know Pat's schedule is wide open that day, so that's great.
I've already been to one. I'm not saying, are they serving dinner?
We will have. Well, yeah. I think we will. There will be something there. Yes.
I'll be there too, Pat.
Margaritas.
All right, well, very good. With that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion to adjourn, seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.